anything about the occult, there are some names you will never miss. Names like Aleister Crowley, Manly P. Hall, Elena Blavatsky, Alice A. Bailey, Nicholas Roerich, and the rest of them. So Manly P. Hall is one of the big ones, and this is what he had to say about symbolism. He says, symbolism is the language of the mysteries. By symbols, men have ever sought to communicate to each other those thoughts which transcend the limitations of language. By limitations of language, I think what he means here is the limitations of conventional language. In other words, Manly is trying to let us know that conventional language has limitations, and where conventional language stops, the language of symbolism begins. In another quote again, Manly says, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of man. For not being able to read the language of symbolism, a huge veil is covering the eyes of man. Actually, people do not know that symbols speak to us every day. Every day you drive to work, every day you walk around in your neighborhood, the symbols that you see there, they speak to you. But the problem is that you have not been taught the language of symbolism, so you don't understand that the symbols that you see all around you are actually speaking to you, and they are having impact on you. The language of symbolism is transmitted to humanity in a very subliminal fashion. Subliminal means something that is beyond the threshold, things that are transmitted to your subconscious, and your conscious mind does not get to see it. This is exactly how symbols communicate to us. So our subconscious are taking in messages, all kinds of information from symbols on daily basis that we're not even aware of, that we're not even conscious of. And when they take those things in, because our subconscious mind has the ability to regurgitate stuff, they always propel us into action. So you find yourself responding to a communication from a particular symbol that you didn't even know existed, that you didn't even remember when you saw. But you are now finally responding to that communication in your physical conscious self. And this is what happens to us on a daily basis. In order to also help you understand this better, I'm going to play you a betting clip from the movie Focus, okay, where Will Smith had to, explain something on how they programmed a particular man to pick a number that he picked, which he thought he was the one that made the decision, but actually the decision was made for him because his subconscious was programmed to pick that particular number.
How did you know who he was gonna pick?
We told him to. Been telling him all day. From the moment he left his hotel room, we've been priming him, programming his subconscious. He's been seeing the number 55 all day long. On the elevator, in the lobby, even the stick pin on the doormat. Not only that, we loaded his route from the hotel to the stadium. He looks out the window, primers are everywhere. Now he doesn't see it, but he does. There's no getting around it. He even sees far.
That is genius.
Yeah, and it's not only what he sees, it's what he hears. The Mandarin word for 5 is Wu. There are 124 woo-woos in sympathy for the devil. Now he's not registering it, but it's all there. So when he picks up those binoculars, looks out on the field, sees a familiar face with the number 55 on his jersey, some little voice in the back of his mind says, that's it. And he thinks it's intuition, and he picks.
Do you want me to write it down?
As you can see, this guy was actually sure that he was the one who picked the number. But the guys who programmed him to pick the number already knew what they did to his subconscious, and they stated it very clearly that they have been programming his subconscious from the time he left his hotel room, on the hallway, everywhere he went, 55 was staring him in the face. But then it was not just all. They also had to use music because the programming has to be 360 degrees. It has to be complete. So the Mandarin word for 5 is woo. And in the song by Rolling Stone, which is called Sympathy for the Devil, they have about 124 woo-woos in that song. So while he was being programmed with the things that his eyes could see, they were also planting that particular woo-woo, which is 5-5, in his subconscious. And his subconscious was taking all that information. Even when he did not know that the Mandarin word for 5 was woo, his subconscious understood that and was taking it in. And when it was time for him to act, his subconscious simply regurgitated everything that had been fed to it, and it manifested in his physical self. This is how we live our lives almost on a daily basis. Take a look at this John Carpenter's 1988 movie, They Live. Rod Piper here plays the role of a drifter. His dark shades reveal hidden messages that are transmitted directly to his subconscious mind through symbols. His conscious mind, which is guided by the physical eyes, doesn't get to see these messages, but he gets them transmitted to his subconscious anyways. As you can see, he walks onto the street and he puts on his dark shades, and rather than see all those beautiful images and symbols and writings on the billboard, all he gets to see is obey, consume, buy, stay asleep, and all of that. He comes to a magazine store and all he sees is just stay asleep, buy, consume, and all kinds of stuff. These are messages that are transmitted to your subconscious, and when they get transmitted, the subconscious assimilates them and eventually begins to regurgitate them at a later date. And this is how the human mind is controlled. This is exactly the reason why advertising companies utilize psychologists who understand the inner workings of the human mind in creating their logos and advertisements. I mean, otherwise, why would an advertiser place a billboard that cost him thousands of dollars on the highway, knowing no one would actually stop to get a good look? The truth is, you only just need to see it briefly, and the rest of the information on that billboard is transmitted directly to your subconscious. At a later date, it will definitely beckon on you to act. So this movie basically is revealing the fact that our world is run by extraterrestrial beings, aliens, who walk around in human form and control our lives and everything we do through the subliminal messages found in symbols, sigils, movies, music, etc. That is why Manly P. Hall said that symbolism is a form of language, and these guys don't want us to understand or master this form of language so they can continue to use it to control you and I every day. So next time when you see someone flashing occult satanic symbols like the devil's horn or El Diablo, don't think it's just for fun. It's not. Flashing this symbol is a way of saying, I love you, Satan, or throwing up a curse sign, as in actually sending the devil's curse on someone else or maybe even yourself. Just in case you don't believe me, hear what the founder of the Church of Satan had to say about this hand sign.
This is the sign of the horn. A curse sign, the 2 fingers extended.
That's from the man who founded the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey. What more can I say at this point? Wisdom, they say, is profitable to direct. And so in subsequent videos, I'll try my best to reveal commonly used symbols that actually pose great dangers to our conscious and subconscious well-being.